Greatness is not reserved for the lucky few. It is built by ordinary people and organizations who dare to think differently and act consistently. In Good to Great, Jim Collins reveals that the leap from mediocrity to excellence is not a matter of dramatic revolution, but of steady, disciplined actions that accumulate into extraordinary results. We are not bound by our circumstances. We are empowered by our choices. And greatness is available to all who commit to the journey. When we hear the word greatness, we often imagine giant leaps, overnight success, or bold visionary leaders changing the world in a flash. But Collins teaches us that greatness is much quieter, more subtle, and more powerful. It grows in the daily discipline of decisions, in the willingness to focus on what matters, and in the courage to stay consistent, even when the results are not immediate. And before we go deeper, remember to like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon, and share this message so more of us can embrace the path from good to great. One of the first lessons is the concept of Level 5 leadership. These are leaders who combine deep personal humility with intense professional will. They are not driven by ego, but by a relentless commitment to build something that lasts. They credit others when things go well and take responsibility when things go wrong. We can all embrace this model by leading with humility, focusing on service, and refusing to let pride destroy progress. Collins shows us that great companies did not become great through a single defining moment, but through the presence of the right people. This is called first who, then what. Before deciding on strategy, vision, or direction, the key is to get the right people on the bus and the wrong people off. When we surround ourselves with disciplined people, we no longer need excessive rules because character creates accountability. Greatness begins with who we choose to walk beside us. Discipline runs through every chapter of this book. Collins emphasizes that building a great organization is not about luck or genius, but about creating a culture where disciplined people take disciplined actions, guided by disciplined thought. When we bring discipline into our lives, we unlock consistency. And consistency, more than inspiration, is what creates progress that compounds until it cannot be ignored. Discipline is the quiet force behind visible success. Another powerful concept is the hedgehog idea. Imagine a hedgehog, simple and focused, always returning to one clear defense. In contrast, the fox is clever but scattered, chasing many strategies without consistency. The great organizations of the study all focused on one big thing: the intersection of what they could be the best in the world at, what they were deeply passionate about, and what drove their economic engine. When we find this clarity in our own lives, we move from scattered effort to unstoppable momentum. The Stockdale Paradox is another timeless truth from this book. Named after Admiral James Stockdale, who survived years as a prisoner of war, it teaches us to confront the brutal facts of reality while never losing faith in the end goal. Greatness requires us to see the truth clearly, without denial, but to also maintain unshakable belief that we will prevail. This paradox is not just for companies. It is for us as individuals when we face setbacks and hardships. Technology is often seen as the driver of greatness, but Collins shows us that it is only an accelerator. Technology cannot create greatness on its own. It only multiplies the momentum that already exists. If our habits, systems, and people are disciplined, technology will amplify progress. But if they are weak, technology will only speed up failure. The lesson is clear. Greatness is built by people and culture, not by gadgets or shortcuts. Collins introduces the idea of the Flywheel Effect. Imagine pushing a massive heavy wheel that does not move at first. We push and push, feeling no results, until eventually momentum builds, and suddenly the wheel turns faster and faster with less effort. This is how greatness feels. There is no miracle moment, just consistent effort that compounds until the breakthrough seems sudden. But in reality, it was built by years of steady pushing. The opposite of the flywheel is the doom loop, where impatience, lack of discipline, and chasing quick fixes lead to collapse. Many companies fell into this trap, changing strategies constantly, firing leaders, and trying to shortcut the process. This is also true in our lives when we look for instant results instead of building habits. The flywheel rewards patience, but the doom loop punishes haste. Which cycle we choose determines whether we rise or fall. Collins makes it clear that greatness is not a function of circumstance, but of conscious choice and discipline. Every day, we decide whether to embrace mediocrity or to push the flywheel once more. We decide whether to chase distractions like the fox or to focus like the hedgehog. We decide whether to lead with humility like a level 5 leader or to let ego dictate our path. Greatness is not given. It is earned in the small choices repeated consistently. The book also reminds us that not every opportunity should be pursued. Discipline means saying no to good opportunities, so we can say yes to the great ones. When we focus only on what truly aligns with our hedgehog idea, we eliminate noise and concentrate our energy. This principle applies in business, relationships, and personal growth. By doing less, but doing it better, we create a path that compounds into greatness. Ultimately, good to great is not just about organizations, it is about all of us. It teaches that greatness is not luck, not talent, not timing, but choice. We all face the temptation to settle for good, because good is comfortable, good is safe, good is easy. But greatness demands courage, discipline, humility, and vision. And when we choose greatness, we not only transform ourselves, we inspire everyone around us to rise higher too. Greatness also means building something that lasts beyond us. Level 5 leaders do not chase personal glory. They build organizations that endure after they are gone. This lesson applies to us as well. The true measure of success is not how high we climb during our lifetime, but whether the values and systems we create continue to inspire when we are no longer present. Greatness is legacy, not just achievement. Another key insight is that good is the enemy of great. Many of us settle for being good enough because it feels safe and comfortable. But Collins shows us that greatness requires the courage to reject mediocrity, even when mediocrity is easier. We must constantly ask ourselves, are we living to our full potential, or are we allowing comfort to chain us to average results? Greatness begins with refusing to settle. We also learn that confronting brutal facts is not negativity, it is strength. By facing reality honestly, we give ourselves the chance to adapt, improve, and grow. The Stockdale Paradox reminds us that while the truth may be painful, denying it only delays progress. Greatness requires both clear eyes and unshakable faith, because ignoring challenges is weakness, but enduring them with vision is power. The flywheel reminds us that success is rarely visible at first. We may spend months or years pushing without seeing results. But if we remain disciplined, the breakthrough comes, and once momentum builds, it carries us further than we imagined. Too often we abandon the process right before the tipping point. If we commit together, we will see the compounding power of persistence. Greatness is patience rewarded. In our own lives, the hedgehog idea challenges us to find clarity in 3 areas: what we love, what we can be the best at, and what sustains us. When these align, our lives shift from scattered to focused, and energy multiplies. Instead of wasting ourselves on endless pursuits, we channel everything into the path where our strengths and passions converge. This is how we move from drifting to thriving. Technology may tempt us to look for shortcuts, but Collins shows us that it is never the source of greatness. Tools can accelerate progress, but only if discipline, clarity, and leadership are already in place. This truth is liberating because it means greatness is not out of reach for those without the latest resources. What matters most is not what tools we use, but how we use the strength of who we are. Another striking lesson is the humility of great leaders. They never pretend to have all the answers. but instead surround themselves with the right people and listen deeply. They share credit, take blame, and focus on the mission above their own ego. If we embrace this model, we transform our homes, our workplaces, and our communities. Leadership is not about being the loudest voice, but about being the most committed servant. Collins also emphasizes that greatness is a matter of consistent practice, not inspiration. Anyone can be motivated for a day, but the great sustain discipline for years. They build habits, systems, and cultures that make success inevitable. This is the difference between a spark and a flame. Sparks flash and disappear, but flames endure, and greatness is built by flames that are fed daily with discipline. The lesson of good to great is also a warning. Many organizations stayed good, but never became great, and in time they faded away. Comfort is dangerous because it prevents growth. If we settle for good enough in our lives, we risk losing the chance to experience the extraordinary. The book challenges us to wake up, to shake off complacency, and to demand more from ourselves and our teams. Good to Great reminds us that the journey is long, but the reward is transformation. When we choose discipline over distraction, humility over ego, clarity over confusion, and consistency over chaos, we rise to a new level of life and leadership. It is not about a single victory, but about building a life that compounds into greatness over time. And the beauty is that every one of us can choose this path. Imagine yourself 5 years from now if you embrace these lessons. With the right people around us, the right focus guiding us, the discipline to push the flywheel, and the humility to lead with service, our lives will not just improve, they will inspire. We will be examples of transformation, not because we were special, but because we chose greatness daily. This is the promise of Good to Great. The journey from good to great is not reserved for corporations. It is for each of us. We are all leaders of our own lives, and our choices today build the momentum of tomorrow. If we choose humility, discipline, and consistency, greatness is inevitable. If we choose distraction, ego, and impatience, mediocrity becomes our cage. The path is open, and it is our decision which road to walk. And as we close this message, remember that the journey to greatness begins with a single choice, repeated with discipline every day. We are not spectators, we are builders of our destiny, and every push of the flywheel moves us closer to the life we are capable of living. So like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and share it with someone who needs to be reminded that good is not enough together. We can become great.